Hezbollah, as you know, is a terror group widely known as a Middle Eastern problem, but maybe you don't know this. The Iranian-born organization reaches further than many of you think. In fact, it turns out there is some evidence the violent militants are deeply rooted in South America as well. So could this eventually turn into a threat to us here in the United States? Joining me now to talk about it is former Oklahoma Governor Frank Keating. And Governor Keating, thank you so much for being here. Okay,
Hi, Julie.
So Hezbollah and Colombian drug lords, what's the connection?
Well, Hezbollah is in the United States right now. The FBI is actively investigating and penetrating Hezbollah cells in America. Their involvement is largely drugs and money laundering and illicit fundraising for the Lebanese side. But in South America, they've been in existence for some time. There are cells, for example, that have their fingerprints all over the destruction of a synagogue and the Jewish or the Israeli embassy in 1992 and 1994, respectively. They're in Paraguay, Brazil, Colombian drug trafficking, and even in Hugo Chavez's Venezuela. So they're everywhere. They're really a cancer all over the hemisphere.
And that is a scary thought. Hugo Chavez, not a friend of ours, and he supports Iran, and Iran supports Hezbollah.
Well, the problem for him is a state within a state like Hezbollah is dangerous to him, too. No matter how much he may dislike the United States, having those kind of people in his backyard, it's one thing to be engaged in drug running, but quite something else if they get real violent. And that's a fear for anybody who cares about stability at home, whether you're Hugo Chavez or any other state in the area.
And we know Iran supplies Hezbollah over $100 million a year, but apparently there are some estimated, I think, 30,000 people, for example, in South America that support Hezbollah, and they're also raising money. So what kind of money do you think Hezbollah is getting, not from Iran, but from South America?
Well, as much as they can get, because obviously they want to raise money to buy weaponry, to be as well endowed in terms of heavy weapons as they can and light weapons, and that's going on at the present time. And as the decibel level goes up, as the heat level goes up, as more and more people are mad at the United States and Israel, obviously these people are more emboldened. So they're a very dangerous group of individuals.
Okay, so then let me ask you, what do the United States do now? We're watching Israel fight Hezbollah on the Middle Eastern front, but how do we fight Hezbollah here on the American front?
Well, it's important, obviously, to identify who they are, to make sure the borders are secure, to stop the fundraising. Apparently, it is going on, perhaps even legally in some instances. That fundraising has to be stopped because any money raised in the United States goes to the purposes of a purchase of weapons and the destructions of civilians abroad, and even perhaps here in the United States. So secure the border, stop the fundraising, and obviously let the FBI and other local and federal law enforcement agencies know precisely what they're up against and shut them down before they become a real danger.
Governor
We've done it in the past with other organizations. We ought to do it with them, too.
All right. We thank you very much.
Sure, Julie.
Well, the port city of Haifa, Israel, caught off guard, you could say, by a deadly barrage of Hezbollah missiles today. But why is the attack today so different from the others? We're going to answer that one for you. Plus, Israel responding with hard-hitting airstrikes, warplanes unleashing an intense shelling on southern Lebanon. We are live on the front lines after the break.
You see a long business trip. We saw